When you talk to a woman, what are you really after? Do you want her, or do you want to be validated? Do you hear her words, or just the echo of your insecurity? Are you trying to connect, or are you begging to be rescued? Nietzsche once wrote, "You go to women. Do not forget the whip." It's not about cruelty, it's about this. Approach women without strength, without self-possession, and you'll be broken. Women, consciously or not, test men. Not to destroy them, but to expose their weakness. And if you come to her empty, she will shatter you. Female sexuality is radiant. It glows in the way she moves, the tone of her voice, the curve of her smile. It awakens hunger, fantasy, longing. It is one of the most powerful forces a man will ever encounter. But here's the truth. The allure itself is not dangerous. It is neutral, like gravity. The danger lies in the man who has no anchor. The man who is not grounded collapses into it, orbiting her like a satellite, forgetting his own center. He loses himself in pursuit, no longer acting, but reacting, no longer choosing, but chasing. Schopenhauer once claimed that women hold men hostage through beauty and instinct, and many men still live as if this were true. But look deeper. Beauty does not enslave you. Your compulsion does. A woman's allure only becomes a trap when you have no weight of your own. Think of fire. Fire can warm your home or burn it down. Its nature doesn't change. Your relationship to it does. In the same way, female allure can inspire or consume. If you are grounded, it becomes a spark that sharpens your vitality. If you are hollow, it becomes a blaze that devours you. This is why men who lack discipline become addicted to porn, to chasing, to the endless scroll of faces. They confuse allure with meaning, mistaking the shimmer for the substance. And so they become enslaved, not by women, but by their own unmastered instincts. The trap isn't her beauty. The trap is your weakness before it. The man who can resist does not become less masculine. He becomes more. He is no longer a boy hypnotized by every flash of desire. He is a man who can look at beauty, honor it, and yet remain unmoved unless he chooses otherwise. That steadiness is what makes him dangerous in the best sense of the word. A man who is not enslaved by allure is a man who cannot be controlled. She looks through you. She laughs at you. She dismisses you with a glance. And you feel the sting. You tell yourself it's cruelty, but it's not. It's a mirror. A woman's judgment reflects you back to yourself. Your neediness, your hesitation, your lack of weight. When you bring steadiness, you'll see that reflected too. She's not the problem. Your projection is. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." Her judgment isn't destruction. It's information. Most men run from loneliness like it's a disease. They keep their phones on, swipe endlessly, drown themselves in porn, or chase shallow encounters. They believe they are filling the void, but really they are digging it deeper. Every time they escape loneliness, they train their nervous system to depend on external crutches. They become addicts to attention. But loneliness isn't an enemy. It's the forge. It's the place where the weak man is broken and the strong man is made. When you sit in silence, when you let the ache rise without flinching, you discover something most men never will. You can endure. Nietzsche described this as becoming hard, not brittle, not bitter, but tempered. Steel is not born strong. It is shaped in fire. Loneliness is that fire. It teaches you to hold your ground when there is no applause, no approval, no soft hand to comfort you. If you cannot stand alone, you will crawl for attention. But when you have learned to face nights without distraction, to eat meals without a phone in hand, to carry yourself without validation, you emerge different, rooted, heavy. You are no longer a beggar for affection. You are a man who can choose to give and receive it, but never needs it to breathe. Before you ever speak, she already knows. She sees it in your posture, in your eyes, in your breathing. Desire makes you chase, but self-possession makes her notice. Kierkegaard warned against the aesthetic life, the endless pursuit of seduction, novelty, conquest. He said it leads only to despair. Why? Because performance fades, but presence endures. To talk to women is not to trick, perform, or seduce. It is to stand as yourself, unshaken, and let that steadiness speak louder than words. Most men perform. They peacock. They tell flashy jokes, flex status, or put on a mask of fake confidence. But here's the truth. She already knows. A woman reads performance like a book. She might smile at the act, but inside she feels the hollowness. Nietzsche wrote, "All credibility, all good conscience, all evidence of truth come only from the senses." If your presence doesn't align with your words, she feels it instantly. Performance collapses, stillness endures. Female allure is not your enemy. Your lack of discipline is. Like the sailors in Homer's Odyssey, men are seduced by the sirens, not because the song is evil, but because they have no anchor. A man must tie himself to purpose, as Odysseus tied himself to the mast. Without it, he drifts into the rocks. The man who can resist the pull of beauty does not become less masculine. He becomes dangerous in the best way. Rejection terrifies men. They avoid it, numb it, or try to trick their way around it. But rejection isn't the end. It's the fire that forges you. Schopenhauer believed most men are crushed by women's indifference because they attach their entire worth to female approval. But rejection is not annihilation, it's initiation. The man who can be rejected and still walk tall is untouchable. Every man asks, "What do I say?" Wrong question. The real question is, why do you need to say anything at all? Most men talk to women as if they are performing a monologue to an invisible judge. They try jokes, lines, stories, not because they are authentic, but because they crave approval. And women feel this. They don't hear your words, they hear your need. The paradox is simple. The less you need to be heard, the more clearly you are heard. True presence is not in the cleverness of your sentences, but in the absence of desperation behind them. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." What is beyond your control? Her reaction, her approval, her interest. So let it go. When you speak without need, when your words are an extension of who you already are, not a plea for validation, she listens differently. You are no longer a boy begging to be liked. You are a man, offering presence. And here's the secret. Sometimes, silence itself is the most powerful presence. To sit with her, unshaken, unrushed, unneedy, is to show more confidence than 1,000 memorized lines. A man without purpose is a man adrift. He orbits women because he has nothing else to orbit. He wakes up with no mission, no higher aim, no weight to his days. So of course he gravitates toward the nearest force of beauty. Women feel this instantly. They sense when you are a man looking for them to be the meaning of your life. And they recoil. Purpose changes everything. When you carry a mission, you walk differently. You speak differently. Your time has weight because it belongs to something larger than you. And women feel this just as clearly. They are not fooled by fake status signals or forced bravado. They are moved by the presence of a man anchored in something beyond them. Nietzsche's Übermensch wasn't about domination. It was about transcendence. Becoming someone who creates his own values, his own aim, his own path. That's the essence of masculine gravity. You don't orbit others, they orbit you, if they choose. Ask yourself, what would I still be doing if every woman on earth vanished tomorrow? If the answer is nothing, then you don't yet have purpose. Find it, forge it. Purpose is the only gravity strong enough to resist the endless pull of allure. When you live this way, women may be drawn to you, but they will never be your center. You will already have one. Porn endless, swiping, casual flings. These are not experiences, they are escapes. They teach you nothing about presence, nothing about rejection, nothing about love. Kierkegaard warned of this aesthetic life, the man who numbs himself with pleasure until he becomes hollow. He wrote, "Boredom is the root of all evil." What he meant was this: men addicted to distraction lose their capacity for depth. If you keep numbing, you'll never grow. Most men cannot hold a woman's gaze, not when she laughs at them, not when she dismisses them, not when she looks straight through them as if they don't exist. The silence becomes unbearable. The eyes feel like fire, so they look away, they shrink, they collapse. But that moment, that sting of judgment, is the forge. It is the exact place where a man is tested, not in his words, not in his charm, but in whether he can remain still when all his insecurities scream to run. Her eyes are not destruction. They are revelation. They show you exactly what you carry inside: hesitation, fear, lack of presence. And they will keep showing you until you learn to carry something different. Nietzsche wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." If your why, your purpose, your weight is stronger than the sting of judgment, you will not flinch. You will not crumble when she dismisses you, because her reaction does not define you. You are already defined. To hold a woman's gaze is not about dominance or intimidation. It is about demonstrating that you exist fully, without apology, without collapse. It is about showing that even when dismissed, even when ridiculed, you remain whole. The truth is, she does not need you to be perfect. She needs you to be real. A man whose presence does not vanish the moment her approval does. Most men will never know this strength. They will forever look away. But the few who can bear the weight of eyes, who can hold steady in the fire of judgment, will discover something rare. The eyes stop burning, they soften, because steadiness itself commands respect. Too serious, and you suffocate the moment. Too playful, and you become a clown. The man she remembers is the one who can laugh without losing his depth, who can tease without becoming trivial. This is not a trick, it's balance, it's gravity with a smile. It's lightness that never forgets the weight beneath it. Most men cling. They cling because they are terrified that letting go means they are unworthy, unlovable, or defeated. They chase after women who show no interest, who disrespect them, who clearly do not want them. Why? Because their need is louder than their dignity. But strength is the opposite of clinging. Strength is the ability to release. To walk away, not with bitterness, not with sulking, but with calm composure. That is not defeat. That is power. The Stoics called this apatheia, freedom from being ruled by what is not yours to control. You cannot control her interest, her attraction, her decision. You can only control your response. And nothing shows strength more clearly than a man who can turn away from a closed door without collapsing. Think about it. When you cling to someone who doesn't want you, you're telling the world you don't value yourself. You're declaring, her attention is worth more than my dignity. And once you believe that, you will never walk tall. But the man who can release, who can smile, nod, and step away when the answer is no, communicates something else entirely. My worth was never in her hands to begin with. This is not coldness, it's clarity. To walk away with dignity is to honor her choice and your own. It's to recognize that rejection is not a verdict on your value. It is simply direction. Every time you walk away with composure, you reinforce to yourself, I am whole. I do not need. I choose. And paradoxically, that is the very presence women respect most. The presence of a man who is free enough to walk away. At last, the shift. You are no longer begging to be chosen. You see women clearly, honor their allure, but you measure them by your values. Nietzsche urged, become who you are. That is the end of the path. You no longer collapse into her approval. You no longer orbit her attention. You stand as your own center, and she orbits you if she chooses. If any part of this cut through the noise, sit with it. Don't scroll away. Don't numb yourself again. Take one breath and ask, what kind of man do I want to become? This channel exists for men who are ready to step out of distraction and into depth. If that's you, subscribe and walk this path with us. Like this video if it struck something inside you. Share it with a brother who needs to hear it. The world doesn't need more men lost in the scroll. It needs men rooted in clarity, in courage, in strength. That could be you.